This is Mr. Dietrich, time for the news you can use for students and lifelong learners. How do we know what's going on in the nation? We go to Twitter. What? Twitter, that's where you find the pulse of the nation. That's the best source, folks. But today we're actually going to start somewhere else. We'll start with an article that I got to from Twitter. This is a positive, upbeat, uplifting one. Get you good for the weekend, get you rolling into Thanksgiving. U.S. workers are on average 6.8 times more productive than Chinese workers. Now, the ratio varies. It can get as high as 16 times more productive in agriculture, 5.1 in utilities, 4.4 in public service. Wow, our low point is public service. That's fine by me. Very good, very positive, very exciting. Let's keep the good times rolling. Zero hedge. The prospect of a more pro-business approach from the incoming administration has fueled greater optimism, in turn helping drive output and order book inflows. That's PMI's Chris Williamson. What is PMI? It is basically a survey of purchasing managers, the people doing the purchasing for companies, and they estimate the manufacturing output ahead, and they're saying it's looking pretty good. That's exciting stuff, as we mentioned before. But they haven't even gotten the oil on the ground. Trump hasn't even taken office. Guys, you got to think. This is a race between firms, firm A, B, C, D, all competing. They're all looking ahead. How can I beat you in the future? Well, one of the ways that I can beat you is I got to get my goods to you faster, get to the market faster. Although things have not changed yet under the Biden administration, the race has already begun. And if I get a jump start, I hire more, I start building more, I beat you to the market, I can be more successful and put you under. Also, I will also, firm A, explore the idea of lowering my prices in anticipation. And I say, well, why are you lowering your prices? Well, think about this. My price is set at what's going on now. Not so good. But if I believe in the future, my costs are going to be lower, the economy is going to be better, and I can lower prices then. Why not just do it now and then force firm B and C either to follow suit or run them out of business? Now I'm going to take a hit in the short run because if I lower my prices now, my costs are still high. But I'll make that up on the back end. That's why the race has begun. That's why things have already changed despite not officially changing. Pretty solid stuff. All right, let's talk media now. We love the economy. We love where we're headed. We're not so bullish on the media. Left-wing media is dying. Legacy media is dead, as we have been saying on this channel for months and months and months. CNN, mass layoffs. The AP cutting their newsroom. MSNBC being sold for scrap. You can read through the thread, but it's because people don't trust the media. They've lost belief. They don't turn it on. Why would you turn on legacy media, corporate media, if you don't believe? It's like, oh, let me get some fake information. Let me go get lied to. How do I turn this thing on? All right, I have 30 minutes to watch TV. I've worked all day. What should I watch? 30 minutes of someone lying to me? Nah, put on sports. Okay. All right, sticking with the media. I won't play the video. Well, it's playing, but you have to listen to the audio. Joy Reid's freaking out again. The same people who got mad about separating families on the border are now telling you to separate your family on Thanksgiving because Trump won the election. If you followed yesterday's video, Marxism, separating the family, then allows the central planners to control. That's Engels in the Communist Manifesto. But that's another story. A lot of layers here to peel apart. There's the media angle. There is the border angle. Let's tackle the border angle first. Many people have problems with deportation, mass deportation, because you're going to separate families. And you'll hear this often. Well, the idea of the government separating families is nothing new. So if there are mass deportations, what is happening is someone broke the law by entering illegally, and as a criminal or someone who is a felon, they are arrested, taken from their family, and they will be deported. Well, here's another example. If your mother murders someone, or if your mother accidentally drinks too much and wrecks her car, the police will come and arrest her for breaking the law and separate you from her. Should we not be allowed to separate her? I know it's upsetting. Okay, well, imagine it's your father then. Is it easier? I like my dad too. But either way, the U.S. government separates families every day. Parents are separated from their children for breaking various laws every day, from murder to manslaughter to tax evasion to illegally entering the country. If you oppose it for illegally entering the country, then you consistently, or if you want to be a hypocrite, consistently would be that you would support it or be against it in every way. It would be hypocritical to say, crime A, you can get separated. Crime B, you can't be separated, especially if they're both felonies. Now, you want to have a conversation about misdemeanor versus felony? Okay, but that's not what we're having when we talk about illegally entering the nation and murder. So, yeah, families are separated all the time. It's terrible. It's horrible. But for someone not to understand that, it's just kind of confusing. All right, now let's go into the Joy Reid rant on Thanksgiving. Well, before we get into the I don't want to hang out with you on Thanksgiving, let's then say what she is saying, which is that she's scared. Well, she's scared because she's going to lose her job, but she's scared that she's going to be thrown in jail, maybe. I don't know. But the interesting thing is, she is fearful that an autocratic administration is going to take over, an autocratic government, and lock people up and take people's rights away. And look, I'll defend her. I will steel man her point and her fear, although it may be irrational. But there is some truth to it, because the Democratic administration under Joe Biden's leadership did the exact same thing 4 years ago. People were denied jobs based on their vaccine records. People were fired based on that. People were locked up for being political opponents. Media companies were censored and taken down. People were canceled. There was very much a lot of lawfare waged. So yeah, it is, probably you reap what you sow, I guess. Now, I by no means support anyone's rights being violated. I believe in due process and a fair, equal court system. Last, about Joy Reid and the Thanksgiving thing. Again, we mentioned this the other day. When people tell you, don't talk to your family, when people tell you, don't talk to people that disagree with you, stay with us, stick with us, imagine you've been taught one thing by one person, and then someday you meet a new friend, and that friend talks to you about different ideas that you had never explored before, which make you question what you were thinking all along. For 20 years, you kind of just never really left the house. Now you're meeting new people and learning new ideas. Well, those people that you were talking to before, they'll immediately say, you need to cut ties with all those people that are disagreeing with you. Don't let them say those things. Stay with us. One of us. It's a big cult thing. That's what this move is. Unfortunately, it is a cult tactic. This is Cult 101. One of the first things that cults do to make sure that people remain in the cult is you have to silo them off, put them in the bubble, and they have to be forced to sever ties with anyone on the outside that might have a disagreement with them or a different opinion. Cult 101. All right, continuing our theme of the media, Bill O'Reilly. So I don't know how much you want to trust this or not, but it's interesting nonetheless. It says, here's what's really going on. And we know the media is in free-for-all. Let's see if I can find, I'll read it for you. He believes that the reason why MSNBC, we'll start first. Joe and Mika went and visited Donald Trump. Many were surprised. Why would this happen? Well, he, from his sources, says that Comcast made them go. Well, why would Comcast make them go? It's clearly a black eye when Joe and Mika have to meet with Trump. But he believes that's exactly what they wanted, was a black eye. Comcast is selling MSNBC. They want to get rid of it as fast as possible, move it on, because they believe MSNBC is tarnishing their brand, holding them back, and the sooner they can get rid of it, the better off they are. Now, you can get rid of something sooner if it's cheap, if it's devalued, if it's not worth anything, if it's a bargain. And so he believes Comcast is intentionally destroying, again, this is maybe a conspiracy, the company. And one of the black eyes, one of the ways to not just hurt the overall PR, but then also stick it to the viewers, making their already sagging numbers worse, was the meeting. Now, the media can spin it all they want, but the lifelong, diehard MSNBC people are beside themselves. They could not believe it. So they're turning the TVs off. And so as the ratings plummet and as the bad things happen, it's going to be much easier for Comcast to sell this thing and get rid of all of these people. They're not putting any resources into it. They're just completely trying to get rid of it, burn it off, and then separate and move on about their day. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know. And then last but not least, Ice Cube in the news. Very interesting conversation here. Well, I'll let you check it out.